I am a woman now, but I still have anger towards men. Maybe I will never marry, but I want my own child. I want to keep my family name alive. I want someone to give my legacy to, she thought. Zuri is strong and passionate. Her childhood was hard. She lost her mother because of her stepfather. When she was 10, she saw how cruel men could be. Her stepfather beat her mother until she died. Zuri felt guilty. She had wanted her mother to marry again. She never knew her own father and wanted one. Actually, she was born from a one-night stand. Her mother was drunk that night and did not know who the father was. Zuri blamed herself. She decided to never be with a man, no matter what. At that time, she was helpless. She hid in her mother's closet. She saw her stepfather beat her mother. Her mother had bruises everywhere. When her stepfather left, she ran to get help. Help came. Her mother was taken to the hospital. Her stepfather ran away. He was never found until 15 years later. Then she heard he died of HIV/AIDS. That was his punishment. Her mother died in the hospital. Zuri was an orphan. She lived in an orphanage. She refused to be adopted by anyone. She promised herself to finish school in the orphanage and be independent. On her 18th birthday, which was also her farewell party from the orphanage, she decided to move to a faraway state. She wanted to leave all her pain and sadness behind. She wanted to leave the memory of losing her mother and the orphanage. She moved to a new city. She applied for a job and went to school part-time. She studied estate and business law. 4 years after she finished school, she became a full employee, not an intern. She decided to focus on her job. Time passed. One day, she was in the ladies' restroom at work. She heard the top bosses planning to steal the company's money. Madam Margaret, the chairperson, was old and had no family. Zuri recorded their talk and took pictures. A few days later, auditors came. They found missing money. This led to a security check. Zuri hoped the guilty people would confess, but they blamed junior workers. The company rule was to arrest anyone who stole until a family member paid back all the money. Zuri had no one to help her. She decided to secretly meet the chairperson. She showed her the recordings and pictures. She did this so she would not be attacked by the others. She had been careful since she started working there. "Good day, Mrs. Margaret," she stammered. The chairperson invited her to sit. Then she revealed everything and begged the chairperson not to involve her. The top bosses had secret groups and were working together. The chairperson thanked her source. She transferred all the details to her phone. This led to checking the CCTV in the chairperson's office. She has access to every room and office in the company. While the company has its own camera monitoring room, the chairperson has a private one, unknown to others. After her findings, she called a general meeting. She called out all those involved in presenting the voice recording. They denied it until she presented the video. All the people involved were arrested and blacklisted from getting any jobs. A few days later, the chairperson invited Zuri to her home for dinner. She thanked Zuri for saving the company from corrupt individuals. During the dinner, the chairperson learned that Zuri was an orphan. She then decided to adopt Zuri, even though Zuri was 22 years old. Zuri initially refused, but the chairperson insisted. She shared her own story. She had lost her family in a plane crash and had felt hopeless ever since. She knew the top bosses were stealing from the company, but because she had no family member to hand over to, she pretended not to notice. She didn't realize they would conspire with another company to destroy what she had built while she was still alive. Weeks later, Madam Margaret declared Zuri her granddaughter. She stated she had placed Zuri in the firm as her eyes and ears. She upgraded Zuri's status to young empress and insisted Zuri call her grandma. Madam Margaret had monitored Zuri for a long time before finally trusting her, and she willed her property to her. They both visited the orphanage where Zuri grew up. Zuri made many changes to the company. Because she had started as an intern, she knew the good and bad aspects of the firm. She dismissed some employees, demoted others, and hired new staff. Years passed, and the company became stronger. Zuri added new departments, including law. Her aim was to ensure that if property and land sales slowed, the legal department would generate revenue. She expanded the company, and it grew stronger. The former Viridian and Living became Viridian Law and Living. Madame Margaret was proud of her and retired. Traveling around the globe, Zuri continued to grow the company. She was strong, had foresight, acted quickly, and hired intelligent staff. She was tough and could not be swayed by anyone, not even rival companies. Everyone wanted to work at Viridian Law and Living. As time passed, Madame Margaret advised her to let go of her anger and hatred towards men and instead get married and have children. Zuri would not listen until she turned 28. She attended a gala night and awards ceremony that recognized the best striving businesses and entrepreneurs.
She was eager and happy, as she and her teams had won many awards over the years consistently. Each year, she hoped another company might take the lead, so she could strive harder. However, when there were no strong competitors, she felt her talent might stagnate. Many companies and their teams attended the function. Among them was Cheeky, a first-timer. He was a very brave young man who had built strong businesses overseas but returned to Africa to establish himself. Cheeky was known to be ruthless in business. He was charismatic and intelligent. He had taken the time to study all the top companies and their CEOs because he wanted to know his potential opponents. Cheeky was in the hospitality and tourism industry. At the gala night, he was captivated by Zuri.
He asked his PA to gather information about her. He admired confident women, especially those as strong as he was. He wanted a partner who could manage his business even after his passing, not someone emotional. Unbeknownst to Chike, behind Zuri's bravery, charisma, and confidence lay a gentle soul, a woman with sympathy and empathy. After her company won the awards, Zuri, who had decided to let a team member accept the award and give the speech, sought the event's tranquility. She left her seat and walked outside to the terrace for fresh air, escaping the AC and noise. She didn't realize Chike had followed her. She knew of Chike and his hospitality business. Networking was essential in the business world. As she enjoyed the cool, natural air, Chike interrupted her thoughts with his deep baritone voice, saying, "Hello, Her Lordship Zuri." This took her back to her past, as only her mother had called her that. Just as she was about to turn and respond, Chike, standing very close, breathed on her face. Then, he gave her a short, sweet kiss that sent an electric shock through her body, her first kiss. They both felt a strong, almost magical connection. Startled, Zuri broke away, held her breath, and rushed straight to her car, asking her driver to take her home. She missed the rest of the event. That night, Zuri couldn't sleep. The memory of the kiss drove her crazy. She decided to investigate Chike further. She emailed his name and company name to her assistant with a note. "In 24 hours, send me all his details. Leave no stone unturned." Her assistant was surprised but followed her instructions. A few days later, Zuri received a call from Chike. Asking her out for a business meeting. At the meeting, Chike went straight to business, discussing his intentions. This was the kind of directness Zuri appreciated. After the meeting, Zuri sat up straight and warned him about the previous night. She said, "I may be a woman, but I am not weak, not even to any lion," hinting that she was also a tigress and that the kiss was forbidden and would never happen again. Chike apologized, claiming the alcohol had taken hold of him. Zuri was furious because she hadn't detected any alcohol on him. Many top executives avoided heavy drinking at events to prevent scandals. She hated that he not only kissed her but also lied. Before she left, he confessed that he had drunk before leaving his apartment and used a strong mouthwash to hide the scent. Zuri decided to let it go, but she made it clear that from then on, it would be strictly business. Chike was not satisfied. He is known for a goal-getter, always achieving anything he sold his mind into, but he never thought that finding a woman to compliment him will be this hard. He decided that he was going to get Zuri by all cost, that no matter what, every person have a weakness and a skeleton they hide. He asked his PA to handle his firm why he handled the business on his heart. Few days later, Chike went under the dark network, listened to all the findings they gave him about Zuri. He was surprised and felt it will be tough to win her heart, so he disguised himself as an ordinary poor laborer and went to work at the Viridian Law and Living site, where they helped their client to handle their buildings. After some days, he overheard Zuri grandma calling her to notify her they need a male worker at home, and he applied. Since grandma was at home at that time, she decided to employ the house server herself. After the interview, she noticed Chike and was sure he was the one. Grandma invited him to a private room and asked him what his intentions was. There and then he confessed that since the kiss with Zuri, he really can't let go, that his intentions were pure only if she will allow him to marry her. Grandma asked him more details as to what led to the kiss. He explained and promised Grandma that he want love and companionship, not their money, hence he has his own wealth. There and then Grandma decided to employ him, but tell him not to always appear in her front even if he did. He should always bow his head with that she won't notice him, stating that she has foresight. They both agreed. Days went by. To 2 weeks she never noticed him because she barely used his services, aside from when he passed by her, bowing his head. One faithful day being that Grandma understand her womanhood and calculate her time of the month, Grandma noticed she was ovulating and spiked her juice at the dinner. That night Zuri couldn't sleep. All she wanted was a man's touch. She have never felt like this in her entire life. Being the fact that she's a virgin, the memory of the kiss came back floating on her. She called Grandma that she doesn't know what is wrong with her. So Grandma asked Chike to go inside her room and act like he will take her to the hospital, being that he's a man, he can carry her. When he went inside, he hid his face and asked her permission so he can carry her to the hospital. She accepted, but on a second thought she realized that she truly a child of her own. And all their workers at home must be tested for any sickness and disease before allowed to work, so she begged him, saying, "Please just this once come sleep beside me. I promise to change your life for good." Chike froze. This was what he wanted, but not like this. He wanted her heart, not her body, so he said, "No, I respect you a lot. I wanted love in my life. I can't do this to you, Ma. I am your slave, please let go." But Zuri couldn't let go. She held on to him. Chike managed to pull out from her hold and step outside. At the door he heard cry for help. He told the grandma that he loved her, and if he take her innocent she might never like him. Grandma assures him that she will come clean. The blame should be on her, not him. Chike went back inside the room to warn her. The next day, Zuri threw a card to him without looking at his face due to shame, saying there is about 10 million in this card. Take it and start a life. I don't want to ever see you again. He nodded and left. He told Grandma that he will keep the card for identification purpose. Month later there was a contest in the business world. Chike decided to hold that contest. Hence the business deal with Zuri have expired. He decided to use this to make her come to his company. Of course Zuri was interested with such contest and prepared. Actually hence is only to be attended by the top bosses. No subordinate is allowed. Every prospective boss was hoping that Viridian Law and Living won't show interest, but to their surprise there she was on her toes with her fashionable glamour. She smiled and exchanged pleasantries during the contest. She suddenly felt sick just when she tried to hurriedly leave the venue. She fainted and to everyone's surprise, Chike rise up and personally carried her to his car straight to the hospital. In the hospital he called her grandma. And Chike told his PA to tell Zuri PA to drop a public notice that she was under stress before the vloggers spread false news. Few minutes later the doctor assured Chike and Grandma that she's fine, and the good news is that she's pregnant. Grandma was overjoyed. Chike was shocked because he knew that the baby is his, but he doesn't know how Zuri will take the news. After Zuri was discharged, Grandma and break the news to her about the pregnancy. Then Grandma also confessed, as she was the brain behind everything, that she really wants Zuri to be happy and not to live a lonely life. Zuri wasn't sad. Not until Grandma disclosed the father of the child. Zuri became furious. She realized that the private hospital she was hospitalis was Chike's own. Aside his hotels and resort, he also owned some other business. Why she, with the help of Grandma, to own an estate business, a law firm with a contractor company, she was angry. She told Grandma that she wanted a child, but not from someone like Chike, because he might want more from her, and she doesn't want to live under any man. She does want to die like her mother, although Grandma assures her. Yet she was angry at Grandma. Thinking of how to resolve the problem both in the business world and beyond, Zuri finally made peace with herself. She decided to give Chike a listening ear, as she had refused to see him for weeks. That very day, Chike came to the villa where Zuri lived with her grandmother. Although Zuri was still angry at him, for the first time in years, she felt scared, similar to when she saw her stepfather beating her mother. Her heart was palpitating furiously. As soon as Chike walked into the living room, Zuri suddenly had a panic attack. She was breathing rapidly but couldn't exhale properly. Grandma immediately called her family doctor, who came and alleviated the stress. The doctor also said that Zuri had been emotionally traumatized and that anything that could trigger the issue should be avoided to keep the mother and baby safe. With that, Grandma left the room to give Zuri and Chike space. Chike sat quietly beside her bed, watching her. He suddenly lost his voice, lost in his own thoughts, wondering what had just happened and what might have caused the panic. Then, he found his voice, as broad and deep as always. He said, "If my presence is a problem, I won't appear before you again, and I am sorry. I didn't mean to, but the truth is, I am deeply in love with you, everything about you. I have watched you for a long time, and I really like you. I am happy that you will be the mother of my child." He paused and continued, "Even if you don't like me, please give me the chance to nurture the child. And once again, I am sorry." He got up and left without turning back. Days turned into weeks. Zuri was troubled because her pregnancy would soon be obvious. She decided to travel abroad until she gave birth before returning. She spoke to Grandma about it, but Grandma objected and told her to stay in their other, more private villa, where nurses and doctors would be readily available. 4 months passed, and in her second trimester, the doctor notified Grandma that Zuri was close to her safe delivery. It needed to be openly discussed. A few days later, Grandma stubbornly called Chike to the other villa, and he joined her for the scan. After that, Grandma spoke angrily to both of them, saying that they should drop their pride and work together to ensure Zuri's safe delivery. Chike insisted that, aside from him, no man was allowed to come close to Zuri. To make this clear, he proposed a court marriage for the safety of the baby. This union, even if not as strong as a typical marriage, would give Zuri the respect of not being pregnant out of wedlock. Ultimately, they concluded, and the next day they obtained their marriage certificate at the court. Chike posted it on social media. A flood of congratulatory messages buzzed on Zuri's phone. Social media was on fire, with people saying that the almighty Zuri had been taken down by Chike. Some said Chike was the key, and others said they were a match made in heaven, both tough bosses. Eventually, Zuri had to submit to Chike in the bedroom so that her cervix would dilate for a safe delivery. But due to her stubbornness, she kept delaying it. One fateful day, Chike prepared a surprise for Zuri, which made her laugh uncontrollably until she had a premature delivery. Before this, Zuri had developed feelings for Chike. She yearned to see him every now and then. She finally told Chike that he had cast a spell on her and that she was tired of fighting it. She was willing to give him a chance if he was willing to support her as a career woman and be her protector. During Zuri's labor, there was a commotion at the hospital. It was taking a long time, and Chike couldn't wait, since he owned the hospital. After 5 hours with no sound from Zuri or the baby, Chike angrily barged into the labor room, wearing doctor's scrubs, and yelling at the midwives and doctors. Zuri, who was in labor, was stunned, as she had never seen this side of Chike. He never panicked, even during storms, but now he was a different person. Chike knelt beside Zuri and assured her that he would stay with her until the end. He said many promising words in a rush, but when the doctors tried to make him leave, he refused. He cracked a not-so-funny joke that made even the doctors, nurses, and Zuri laugh. While Zuri was laughing in pain, the baby's head emerged, and Chike held her hands, saying, "Breathe in and out," and made her push, whispering that she was a tigress and should challenge the pain and be victorious. After everything, Zuri gave birth to 2 sets of twins, a boy and a girl. Although premature, the babies were placed in incubators while the mother slept peacefully. Chike sat watching her. A few minutes later, Grandma walked in with food and gifts, and some close employees represented the company with gifts, making a strong surprise. When Zuri woke up, Chike personally fed her in front of everyone who came by. Chike brought out a box from his pocket and proposed to Zuri, and to his surprise, she accepted. They named the babies Chike and Chikara in Igbo and Zuri and Zawadi in Swahili to continue their legacy.